Welcome to the Self-Growth Nerds podcast. I'm your host, Marie, a courage coach, creative soul, and adventure seeker. Since through hiking the Pacific Crest Trail in 2019, I'm on a mission to help you embrace your most confident self so you can achieve your dreams too. If you're eager for deep conversations, big questions, and meaningful connections, join me on the quest to discovering how we can create a more magical and memorable life. Hello nerds! Happy Monday, or happy whatever day of the week you're listening to this on. How are you? I'm good, although today I want to talk about feeling down. By the way, side note, some of you sometimes write to me asking how I can be so positive and optimistic and happy and energetic and confident all the time. It's not the case. Keep in mind that I'm also human and I have days where I'm a mopey mess, where I cry when I feel like nothing's working. I have those days. I just keep them for myself and my loved ones. And I'm not going to post on social media about it because it's no one's business. But I do want you to know that I'm not always fierce and fearless and confident, all right? No one is, because we're all human. So don't let any facade fool you into thinking that some people are just happy all the time, because being human is about experiencing the whole breadth of human emotions. So recently I've been having the last one-on-one sessions with my clients from the first cohort of Brave and Bold. And one of them struck me as a really interesting topic for a podcast. She made incredible progress during our time together. She was like a rocket, right? And when we met, the last time we met, she was feeling down about not progressing as fast as she did in the beginning. She was in a period of her life where she needed more rest and more time alone. She felt guilty about that. She felt guilty about not being in a phase of improvement. She was frustrated at herself for having those feelings of depression. Not that she was necessarily depressed, but she was not feeling as upbeat and optimistic. Let's just take a look at her model. Remember that the model is the thoughts you have about a neutral circumstance, what feeling they create, how you act when you feel this way, and the results that this create. That's the model from the life coach school created by Brooke Castillo. Okay, so my client's circumstance was feelings of depression. Yes, you can put feelings on the C line. So feelings of depression, and her thought about her feelings of depression was, I shouldn't feel this way. And that thought made her feel guilty. And what you do when you feel guilty, you beat yourself up. Or in her case, that's what she did. She beat herself up. And what's the result of that? Well, feeling even worse. Now, what if feeling bad about feeling depressed made the whole thing last longer? What if you had to be okay about feeling depressed in order to feel better? Let's take the same circumstance, feelings of depression. What if your thought about your feelings of depression was, it's okay to feel this way right now? Or maybe this is not going to last forever. It's okay to feel this way right now. How does that make you feel? Maybe acceptance? And when you feel acceptance, what do you do? How do you act? Well, you're more likely to just let the feelings be. And the result is the same. I mean, the feelings of depression are still there, but you don't make them worse by beating yourself up about them. And this is not just true with feelings of depression. It can also be true about anything that you wish wasn't there, like sadness or pain in your leg or pain in your back. If you have back pain and you think, I shouldn't feel this way. This shouldn't be there. This is not fair. It makes you feel tense and angry. And it just adds a double layer on top of the painful situation you're already living. And part of you might want to argue with me and say, but it's not okay. It's messing up with my life. It's messing up with the life I want to have. This back pain. Yes. Okay. You can be annoyed. Get it. You can be annoyed. But being annoyed or angry at the situation will not make them go away. That's the thing. So let's switch your perspective and see if there are reasons to prove that you should actually feel this way. That maybe it's a good thing, or maybe not a good thing, but maybe it's okay. Let's look for reasons that it's okay, even normal, to feel shitty. Reason number 1. Maybe you've been through something difficult and you just need to ride the wave. Feel the feelings. Reason number 2. Because you cannot be on all the time. You're not a children's TV show. You have seasons. Everyone has seasons. Just like trees lose their leaves in the fall. It's normal for your momentum to go down sometimes. Just like waves, up and down. We're natural. We're not machines. Reason number 3. Because our systems are pretty broken, I would say. This industrial revolution created the 9 to 5 days a week, 40-hour week for a reason that worked back then when there was a woman at home to take care of the children. But it's outdated now, not just for this reason, for many reasons. So no wonder you find this difficult. It's like you're trying to fit a circle inside a square. Another reason why it's okay to feel low, to feel bad, to feel sad, or to feel depressed is because being human is about feeling all the feelings. If you weren't feeling your feelings, if you were happy all the time, you'd be an AI. And number 5, because you need rest, and maybe that's your body's way of telling you to slow down. Or because you need to make a significant change in your life, and it's your inner being's way of telling you the way you have been living your life does not work. We are no longer aligned. And what are we going to do about it? Sometimes you need to hit rock bottom or close to it in order to make a drastic change. So ask yourself, what are reasons to prove that yes, it's okay for you to feel the way you feel? For my client, she realized that perhaps she actually needed to go through these tough periods of time to become the person that will be most able to help others the way she wants to help them. That going through these low periods was gonna teach her about growth and help her be more empathetic towards others who are going through something similar in the future. So, whenever you find yourself thinking, I shouldn't feel this way, turn it around and ask yourself, what are the reasons why I should actually allow myself to feel this way? And some of you might roll their eyes and think I'm talking about everything happens for a reason. But it's so much deeper than that. I was reading A Man's Search for Meaning recently. That was written by an Austrian doctor who survived concentration camps. And he talks about the prisoner mindset and how, quote, one could make a victory of those experiences, turning life into an inner triumph, or one could ignore the challenge and simply vegetate, as did a majority of the prisoners. He talks about how he observed people giving up on life, and those who gave up on life slowly but surely died, whereas those who made it the longest time were the prisoners that found meaning in the suffering that they were going through. At one point, he describes a moment where he was doing something really painful and he really wanted to be somewhere else. So he writes, quote, I forced my thoughts to turn to another subject. Suddenly, I saw myself standing on the platform of a well-lit, warm, and pleasant lecture room. In front of me sat an attentive audience on comfortable, upholstered seats. I was giving a lecture on the psychology of the concentration camp. All that oppressed me at that moment became objective, seen and described from the remote viewpoint of science. By this method, I succeeded somehow in rising above the situation, above the suffering of the moment, and I observed them as if they were already of the past. That is so profound. Creating meaning out of suffering made the nightmarish days he was going through more bearable. Instead of thinking, I want to die right now, this is an inhumane way to live, which was true. Creating meaning of what he was going through allowed him to stay strong. That's why it can be helpful when you're going through a rough patch to think about the big picture and to think about what this is going to teach you, what this is going to bring you, how this is going to make you stronger. Instead of arguing with reality, which is what so many of us do, arguing with what is, instead of zooming out, seeing what we're going through as just a little part of the journey. If I go back to my client, it's like she believed growth was linear. That once you improve, once you get to know your patterns and get better in certain areas of your life, you should never go back to the way you were. But that's a myth and an idea that an error in thinking that all of us make. We tend to see life from a lens of masculine energy. And when I say masculine energy, it has nothing to do with gender. I'm talking about like the warrior versus goddess energies. Warrior is going in a straight line, pushing through the obstacles, never going back. And goddess energy is more in the flow, like nature. Doesn't matter where you are because there is no line and everything is okay, and we need a balance between both. It's the yin and the yang, a balance between direction and compassion. Otherwise, if we're all warrior, we get exhausted. And if we're all goddess, we go nowhere. So that's it for today. I hope this was helpful for you. Remember, when you're feeling depressed or sad or angry or frustrated, it never helps to get angry at yourself. You want to feel your feelings and be okay. Accept that they are there, and just accepting their presence will make your life a lot easier than wishing they weren't there and trying to push them away with your mind. And that doesn't mean sitting on your ass and not doing anything about it. But when you're in a place of acceptance, the actions you're going to take are going to be very different, much more compassionate and loving towards yourself than if you're in a place of annoyance and guilt, right? You might take the same action, but the energy behind the action is going to be completely different, and the result as well. All right, that's it for this week, and I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye! You just listened to the Self-Growth Nerds podcast. Make sure to subscribe and to find me on Instagram at Self-Growth Nerds. If you want individual help developing the confidence to create a more meaningful and exciting life, visit selfgrowthnerds.com today to learn how. Finally, I want to thank my friend Etienne Galano for editing this, and I want to thank you, kind-hearted souls, for growing into your truest, most courageous selves every day and making this world a better, more beautiful place. My name is Marie, and I will talk to you next week.